turning pain into power, turning suffering into strength. You have to understand that if you don't convert and transmute that negative energy that just stagnates within your mind, you are going to consequentially sequence yourself into negative outcomes. That energy is going to fester and pester your mind, and you will make choices that don't align with what you truly desire. You have to understand that when you turn your suffering into strength, when you turn your pain into power, you grow, you expound beyond that limitation. And you have to understand that to sit there and stagnate in inadequacy, to sit there with negative energy in your mind and not do anything to fix it, is to be rendered mentally inferior. You have to understand that if you suffer and you actively have pain and you don't transmute that pain into something powerful to use your suffering as a growth to expedite your growth through pain and suffering, you have to understand that pain is the best motivation. You won't get the shit done unless there's a fire on your ass. So you might as well utilize the fire to your benefit. You have to understand that to live is to fight. So as you continue to go through life without fighting and you just give up and you sit there in the cold as you plunder and fall to the inevitable abyss of amounting to nothing, achieving nothing, and being an existential failure, to sit there in an existential crisis and to blame everything but yourself, to sit there and stagnate in negative energy, to sit there and stagnate in your pain and suffering, instead of convert that into power by doing what you don't want to do and neglecting the temptation of what you want to do. You have to understand that every time you sit there and allow that energy to stagnate, all you're doing is proliferating your own self-demolition. So when you look at the addictions that you suffer from, when you look at the negative habits that you put your energy into deliberately to sabotage yourself from being something less than the best, you have to understand that that is coming from underlying motives that are creating negative currents in your mind, which is negative energy, which you feel as negative emotion. But you have to understand that to be aware of negative emotion and to be unaware of negative emotion doesn't mean the negative emotions aren't there. Just because you're unaware to the fact that you have a heap of a mess of negativity within your mind doesn't mean it doesn't fucking exist. You have to understand that just because you aren't aware of your pain doesn't mean it's not there. You are suffering, and that is going to be outputted into the addictions that you feed. It's going to be outputted into the negative energy you channel and project onto other people. And you have to understand, to transmute pain into power, you have to walk across a bridge. But the thing about this bridge is that this bridge only grows, and this bridge will only manifest itself as you walk it. So each step of faith that you take in the direction of potentially falling into the brutalist of waves, you have to understand that each step you take to turn that suffering into power is each step you'll grow massively. You will induce so much power with each step that you take to overcome what is coming on you, literally. So be the individual to not be a bitch in life. And to live is to fight, and to not fight in life is to be rendered mentally inferior to the ones that pick up their fucking sword every day, look in the mirror, and conquer that individual. To pick up habits that will expedite and accrue value, personal value, over time, to compound their personal development, and to be the best and nothing less. To always move forward in life with a sword, decreeing personal excellence and pointing it at the individual in the mirror. Not pointing it at the coworker, not pointing it at the individual in the store who's pissing you off, pointing it at the fucking individual in the mirror and dominating that individual every day. The only power is self-control. And the more you compound into your development, the more power you accrue. And power is aggression, but wielded and projected into positive outcomes. You have to understand that aggression is power. You have to understand that if someone is more aggressive than you, and you may have the skills to knock that person out, if that person is aggressive enough, that person will fuck you up. You have to understand that aggression is a resource, it is a source, it is a energy, and if you can cultivate that energy and channel it into the goals you need in life to be fulfilled and to be a holistic individual and to complete yourself with wholeness, to not be a whole, but to make sure that you become whole by fulfilling what you need to fulfill, You have to understand that aggression is the catalyst that will take you there. If you can wake up with massive amounts of intention to the point where you are aggravated and irritated, and you can channel that directly into your fucking goal, there's going to be nothing stopping you, and it's going to be a relentless pursuit of that better man. It is going to be a relentless pursuit of daily excellence and anointing yourself and appointing yourself to what the fuck you need to do to be a better individual in life and to proliferate your existential worth as you compound your development, as you channel the most ferocious of energy into what the fuck you need to get done. Now, you have to understand that you have to begin with the first step, and the bridge will grow as you walk. This bridge only manifests with each step, and each step you neglect is a tumbling into the relentless waves of life where you suffer and drown in your inadequacy. So the first step is to take the first step. And you have to understand that personal development is the path of life. If the tree is going to be a seed and then grow into what the fuck it needs to become, because that's what the fuck God said it's going to become, well, you have to understand that you have a seed within your soul, within your heart. And the moment you take the first step, which is quitting the addictions, going to the fucking gym, working out that negative energy and inducing power consciousness with each rep, tracking the macros and picking up the books, cultivating knowledge to be a better individual in life and to have intellectual prowess and to be intelligent, to actually have intelligence backed behind your mind. A lot of you are mindless minds. You are literally a mind, and you are being farmed for your life. So do yourself a favor and become the gold mine instead of be mind, like literally. So a lot of you guys are mindless, be mindful, and you fill your mind with knowledge by pursuing your personal development. And you have to understand that you need to grow in every metric of life. You have to understand that it's a circle you're fulfilling, so not a straight fucking line. So you have to be the individual to understand that if you're not maxing out in every area, then you are definitely not successful, because the only growth, the only existential success is existential mastery. The only success is self-mastery. So if you're not mastering yourself in every metric, you are definitely not successful. A lot of you guys take pride in what you own, but it's not about what you have, it's about who you are. And you have to understand that when you get to certain levels, what you have is just a byproduct of who you are. So a lot of you guys like to take prowess in, what you've quote unquote earned, or what you've traded for your life and not earned. You have to understand that entrepreneurship is the way of life. So pick up, some type of to get you out of that comfort zone, because you will stagnate, and then you will pervasively permeate your existence with inadequacy as you remain incompetent in every metric of existence but the one that matters the least. Now, understand that personal development is truly what's going to set you apart as an individual. And to neglect the responsibility of developing your character is to remain an underdeveloped, low-level piece of shit. So do yourself a favor and take steps towards the development you need to accrue the value you need in life. To not accrue value in life is to not have value. To not have value is to be valueless. You are the work of life, and the work you put into yourself is your worth. So are you existentially worthless? Are you existentially valueless? Are you too incompetent to realize that you can change that and become the value? Or are you, going to sit there and neglect the responsibility of life, which is you? You are life. So you have to understand that before you blame life, blame yourself, because you are the experiencer of your life, and the life that you have and are experiencing is the only life. So instead of blaming life, blame you, because your life is a reflection of you. Peace.